take that energy. I know I'm like, wait.
Hallo schön, wie geht from Berlin? This is the BSBI Talks Vodcast.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Student Vodcast. Today, we have Marina, all the way from Brazil. She is a digital marketing student, and we're going to have a lovely chat with her. So, Marina, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So first of all, thank you for having me. I'm excited for this chat.
Me too.
As you said, I was born and raised in Brazil. I have a bachelor in journalism at home.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a content creator for over 5 years now.
Wow.
And I moved to Berlin 1 year ago, pursuing my master's here at BSBI.
Okay, super, super nice. So you've been here for about a year in Germany, and how do you like it so far?
I think the 1 year mark is very important for for living abroad.
Yeah.
It was a difficult first year, let's say, in the sense that I had some adapting to do. And now I feel really comfortable with the city. I can confidently say that I really like living here in Berlin, that it's like a city that I have explored enough to have this conclusion of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, first year, there's a lot of things that you still need to learn and understand how it works. But at the end of it, it's fine.
Yeah, definitely. And so you said you're pursuing a master's degree in digital marketing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So can you tell me a little bit more of your experience academically before pursuing this degree? Also professionally too.
Sure. So as I said, I graduated as a journalist back at home. I have a background in TV. That was a lot of fun.
Ooh, yeah, a lot of fun.
But then after I graduated, I moved abroad actually to Germany for the first time in another city.
What city were you in?
I was living in Oldenburg. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a small city close to Hamburg.
Okay.
So very different vibe than Berlin, but it was my first time in the country getting to know the culture.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. I really liked Germany as a society, the culture.
Yeah.
But I was young and I wasn't so sure exactly what path I wanted to follow. So I did a few years of traveling in different countries, living abroad in different countries.
Amazing. Really amazing.
Yeah. I loved it. I lived in Holland, in the US. I came back to Brazil, and then I was ready for this path that I wanted to get back to my area of expertise, which is content creation, marketing. This is kind of more the path that I went inside journalism. It's can get a little bit mixed, right? There's so many ways that you can have this profession.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wanted to put myself back in the market, specifically in the German market, and I thought that studying was the best investment that I could do for myself at the time. And that's how has it been.
Wow, that's an amazing journey. Like really, really nice. And I'm sure you got so much exposure to other cultures. And so while you were there, were you also creating content when you were at these different countries and living in these different countries?
Yeah, actually, I only started to create content online back in 2020. So I think during the pandemic, of us are bored or looking for a new project or having the extra time to do something else. So that's when I started. At the time, I was living in San Francisco, California.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, I don't have the memories from all of these other experiences living abroad. But yeah, nowadays I talk about the balance between work and personal life here in Germany, that it's like a very big cultural thing. Yeah, that's the main topic of my social media.
That's amazing. Can you give us like a little bit of like a snippet and dive deeper into that?
Sure. Yeah. What exactly was it?
Well, I guess what are some key factors that you would say would be helpful to differentiate like your work-life balance, or I guess specifically with content creation, and then also with your professional work?
Yeah, I think that was the thing that attracted me so much to Germany, because coming from Latin America, we are very much living for our jobs. This is kind of like cultural-wise, same as the US. I mean, of course, this is my personal perception.
No, I agree with you. I definitely agree.
But it's a very hustle culture, let's say.
Yeah.
And in Germany, I feel that Germans, the people, they really appreciate this. So this reflects in your work. Of course, there's nuances to it. There's everybody's personal experience. I don't want to generalize and say that everybody lives this lifestyle. It's definitely an effort that you have to put into your life and make this a priority that you are looking for this balance, but there's definitely opportunity to it. So I've been working, I have an internship that I do here in Germany for over a year. And I was very surprised of how understanding the whole team was with my studies. So giving me time.
Right.
I am able to choose which days I come into work, which ones I don't. If I
Wow, this flexibility is amazing.
a lot of flexibility. I think that is like very unique of this. Like I never had this in past opportunities. So this is something really nice.
That is amazing. And so you share this in your content, just sort of like your like lifestyle here as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to talk also about, because mainly my followers are women, so I have like 95% women following me. So I also like to talk about this balance from a perspective of women who normally have a double, triple journey of work. And we are not so much incentivized to have our own hobbies and personal passions. So I like to show my life and hopefully inspire other women to also see this as a possibility, like this is something that it can be done abroad. Also, of course, at home you can do this, but I just want to show all these other perspectives.
Yeah, that it's possible. Like you can do it, and just being encouraging. I think that's amazing. So now going back to Berlin specifically, so what were your first impressions about Berlin?
I was lucky enough that I was able to visit Berlin a couple of times on my first exchange program, but I only been to Berlin in the winter.
Oh.
So this year I had my first summer in Berlin, and I understand the whole hype. Before I moved, people talk so much about, Berlin, the summer is the best, it's absolutely the best. And I was kind of skeptical about it. I was like, I mean, it's nice, it's summer.
Yeah, of course.
But I had no idea that it was actually worth all of this hype. I loved the city. Already during spring, when you see like the trees getting back to life and things, the flowers coming out, it's really, really nice. So my first impression of Berlin was that it's a very multicultural place. I think I love this about the city, how you really feel every day that you are in a city, that you have multiple cultures. You hear many languages, and languages that coming from Brazil and Latin America, we are not so used to here. For example, we're more used to English or German, French, things like this. But here, I hear people in the street and I'm like, oh, what language is that? I don't even know. So I really love the fact that Berlin gives you the opportunity to get in contact with cultures that are so distant, let's say, from mine.
I love that. And so did you have any challenges? I guess we'll start there and then we'll go into like the advantages or any like perks. But did you find, what were some main challenges that you found? I know you had already moved to the country before, so I know you were very adaptable, but just specifically with Berlin, what would you find that would be, your main hustle, I guess? Or...
I think that any change that you make in your life, there's gonna be some challenges. That's kind of part of the package. You have to sign and agree and continue.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So definitely, I had a little boost of confidence because I thought, I already moved abroad so much. I already lived in Germany. This is gonna be easy peasy. And then I was kind of like, okay. I moved and then again, I had to go through the same challenges. So I think it's just part of the experience. We just have to embrace it. Some of the challenges I think Berlin specifically presents to you, it's housing. Housing here is extremely difficult.
Oh my goodness.
And this has been a problem in a lot of major European cities, capitals. So I think there's not... you just kind of have to go with it and find your way. Even Germans go through it. It's hard for everyone. So housing is definitely a challenge that I faced here. And I think the winter, right now we are in winter. We're recording this and it's a beautiful snowy day. But all of January when it was like gray for a week, this is always a challenge. There's a lot of nice things and ways to deal with it, but it is what it is. It's just gonna be gray outside for a couple of months.
But the summers make it worth it.
Exactly.
The summers,
So looking forward.
If anything, it's kind of like a little, it encourages you. Like it's like a teaser, and you're like, okay, the summertime is a reward.
Definitely. And something that I also learned with these different seasons, because in Brazil, we basically don't have seasons. Of course, that's different from northern and south Brazil, but it's very different here. We have specifically autumn and then winter, spring, and summer. And something that I really appreciate about having seasons is that during winter is really a time for you to work on yourself, take a rest, or maybe have a special project that you can dedicate time, because you can, I don't know, maybe go to the gym more often and things like this, because it's really more of a time of reclusion. So if you want, I don't know, read 5 books in the first months of the year, something like this, I think this is a nice opportunity to do this, because then summer's coming and you just want to enjoy, you just want to be outside, you want to be social. So I think also makes me appreciate even more this time and have different seasons for everything in the year. I like that.
Yes, I do too. Honestly, I completely agree. That is something that I went through as well. Also, coming from California, we also don't really have seasons. And so I learned to really appreciate wintertime for exactly that. Just a time to reflect and to work on new projects, honestly. And so now on a more positive note, what were some surprises that you found in Berlin? I guess some surprises can be bad too, but what are some good surprises?
Good surprises, okay. I mean, there were definitely a lot of good surprises about Berlin. First of all, I think it was my group of friends that I have met here.
Yeah.
German culture is kind of known for being very different than Brazilian culture. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And I had experience with Germans before. But I heard specifically that Berlin was, God, it's so hard to make friends. People are so closed up. But what we forget is that there are a lot of immigrants and foreigners also living here. And they're also looking for friends. They're also looking for community. And I was very lucky that from the beginning, I met this really incredible group of Brazilian women that really took me in, and they were already a group, and they just put me in as if I had always been there. So I was very lucky with them. And then I met more people doing sports, at school, at work, everywhere I go, I was able to also have this little outside friends from other cultures, from other backgrounds.
Yeah.
So this was a very good surprise. I think having friends and a community makes this whole experience much better, like it gets you through everything.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing surprise.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, that's so nice to hear, because I'd also heard the same thing too, that people can be maybe a bit cold.
Yeah.
But it's lovely to hear your story. And so I kind of want to dive deeper into that in terms of cultural differences or similarities. You're from Brazil. And so what would you say are the biggest differences between Brazil and Berlin? Just Berlin specifically.
I think let me think about it a little bit, because when I think about German and Germany stereotypes, I don't think Berlin really applies to me.
Right.
That's such a difference.
Yeah.
So if I'm actually thinking about Berlin, I'm gonna say that there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of different cultures, a lot of different groups, while Brazil, it's just easier for me because it's all kind of the same. Of course, we also have local cultures and things like this, but it feels easier because everybody is from basically the same root culture. Let's say here there's so many people, they are like maybe first, second generation Germans, but they speak 2, 3, 4 languages and have all this different cultural background. I would say this is a very big difference for me. But I was surprised in terms of culture how much in Berlin you can find people like you. For example, I have a classmate here at school that is Turkish, and I don't think I've ever met any Turkish before in my travels or something. And in my classroom, I have a lot of Turkish, and they're great. And every time I would find the similarities in our culture, I was like, oh, we also do this. I was like, oh my gosh. Like Brazil and Latin America in general, it's a lot like Turkish culture in a lot of ways. So
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, me neither. So I was like very, very good surprise to know that. Yeah.
Okay, so my understanding is, so you put yourself out there. Like when you got here, like you said that you also are part of sports clubs and work and everything. So would you recommend that for people here as well, to just sort of maybe step out of your comfort zone, try out a new class, and or join a new organization, is that something that you think would help integrate people more into Berlin?
Definitely, that would be something that I recommend. I understand that might look as it's easy for me because I'm an extroverted person, communicative, but it's always challenging. I think, putting yourself out there, meeting people. There's always this little awkwardness, and you don't know really how to approach. Everybody goes through it if you're introvert or extrovert. But I would really encourage people, even if you are a little more on the shy side, to put yourself out there. I mean, you might not even see these people never again. It's such a big city. Nobody really cares. And that's something that I love about here. People don't care. They don't care what you're doing, how you're doing. So I love this about the city. If you go to a class, it's awkward, you don't like it, never show up again, go to another one, know. So there's a lot of opportunities here of things to do. There are clubs here at school. There are so many different sports. There are activities, events, so many things to do, like even WhatsApp groups. I find friends on WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups, whatever. So definitely, I think this is a way of meeting people and building your community.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. And so then I wanted to ask about similarities between Brazil and Berlin. Did you notice any similarities? I mean, you said that you had a really strong friend group and Brazilian community here, so that's really awesome. But is there anything maybe on the cultural side, or is it totally different, would you say?
I think it's hard also to compare or to think something on top of my mind because Brazil is huge. So there's so many different cultures. And if there's like a Brazilian watching, they're going to be, well, in my city, it's not like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to think about São Paulo, which is a city that I lived for a few years. And it's a huge city too. So I think the similarities are that everything happening at the same time, very different group of people in the same place. This kind of like big city experience.
Yeah, to describe it.
Yeah, I think this we have the same in São Paulo. But other than that, I mean, there's a reason why I chose Berlin, and I already lived in São Paulo. I really enjoy some things that Berlin has that I did not had the opportunity to live in São Paulo. So I would say that the fast-paced city vibe and everybody kind of mixed together, but you can be whoever you are in a big city. I feel that that's very nice. And also in São Paulo, we have that.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, thank you. And so just bringing it back to now your BSBI experience. So what was your vision for the Master's in Digital Marketing program? What was your vision for attending BSBI?
Let me think for a second.
Kind of a hefty question.
Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah. I definitely was eager to learn. I think I was looking most forward to the academic aspect of it. Like it's been a couple of years since I graduated and did my bachelor's. And I did a lot of online courses and things like this, especially through the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I am a classroom person, so I really was looking forward to have this in-class experience, exchanging with other students, with the faculty. So I think my vision for it was to be in an academic space, let's say, to be around people who are eager to do the same, to learn, and in this mindset. I think that was like my biggest reason for choosing to come here.
Yeah, like your why.
Yes.
Nice. And so what are some other events that you have participated in, specifically in BSBI, that you have really enjoyed?
I think the Café Scientific, have been to a few of them. I really enjoy watching them. Some are right after my class.
It's a long day.
Yeah, but it was nice because I'm already at school, so I feel like, I'm already here. Let me just go take a look and participate and watch that in person. It's also very nice. You get the opportunity to make questions, to meet the guest that is there. If you want to maybe make a connection, if it's somebody that you think is in the same field of you, that that you want to pursue. And also a lot of the career events, like the career fair.
Yeah, that's
the photo shoot for the curriculum, mock-up interview. I did a lot. I really
You were such a go-getter. Like, I really see that you're really super active, which is very inspiring.
Thank you. I really enjoyed like the career services that were provided. A lot of the talks too, they were so interesting. So even if you have experience already on interviewing or how you do your curriculum and things like this in your country, you always have to think and adapt to Germany, right?
I think that's a great point. That is a very, very good point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think this was the perfect opportunity for me not to have to go in, do research, ask around. You know, you can always and you should always do that, but it was very easy just coming and learning the correct way of doing things here in Germany. So there was a lot to learn about that.
Yeah, especially if there are events set up for this. So like you were saying, it's like a cover letter workshop for the German market, for the European market. So these are already in place. And I guess then it ties back to you just being like, say yes to it, go to it, show up. And so that's really nice. I think that's a really, really good point too. And so can you tell me about some friendships or communities that you built throughout your time at BSBI?
Sure. So I am an extroverted person. Yes. So I like to, and also I think living abroad, you know, it's always easier to do it when you are surrounded by friends and other people. You don't have your family here. So I really value community. I have my group of Brazilian friends that they're awesome and we often do things, but I also have a German friend for people who say that it's so hard to make German friends. Well, it's work, but it's worth it. And we actually live very close by. So we love to go to sports together or go for a coffee, you know, here in the neighborhood, which have a long...
amazing, cute coffee shops.
Exactly.
Like that's like one of my hobbies.
Yeah.
We just like to just do that.
Berlin is perfect for that because there's so many, and especially on summer when you can just be outside and walk with it. It's great. Or also in winter, it's perfect too because then you're heated from the cold. So yeah, it's a very good thing to do. I have friends from school, so my classmates that we normally get together after class. There was one term that we had the night class, so right after it, we would go for a drink or something together, just in the neighborhood, you know. Let me think. I think that was it. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody.
It's like, it's just really nice. Like, I feel like you're a part of so many different organizations throughout the city, which I do think really gives you that full abroad experience, like studying abroad, working abroad, making friends abroad. So I think it's really nice to see you have like the whole package, the whole experience. So that's
right.
Yeah. And so I guess going into more of like the fun and the leisure activities, do you do a lot of traveling outside of Berlin or Germany? Maybe to other countries, neighboring countries, or maybe further?
Yeah, I mean, Europe is great for that because coming from such a big country.
Yeah, Brazil's
here. Like I can travel by plane in Brazil 3 or 4 hours and I'm still in my country. But here, with a 2 hours train or car, you can be in a new country. That's really amazing. But I feel that this first year, I really took it to explore the city itself to see if it was. I really wanted to find out if it was a match for me to stay here long term, if that's what I want. So that was my main focus. But of course, I did a couple of traveling. I went to Ireland for a whole week. I actually got to visit a friend that I haven't seen in a long time from Brazil that lives there. And I went to Budapest, which I loved.
Budapest.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So would you say Budapest is your favorite place? Or
that's hard.
Yeah.
In Europe?
Yeah, in Europe. We'll say.
I would say, I mean, I love the beach. I love warm weather. So I would say Barcelona. It's
Barcelona. Okay. I really want to go there. I'm planning a trip with my friends in a month.
Oh, so perfect.
From BSBI. Yeah. Because we just submitted our thesis, and so we decided to make like a
yes, to celebrate.
Yeah.
Barcelona is perfect.
Okay. Well, really nice. And so looking to the future, what are some of your career goals, even academically, if you will, or also professionally, also with your content creation? I know you talk about managing all these aspects, so I'm really curious to see and to hear how you bridge them, or are they separate?
Yeah, that's a good question. They are mixed because I think it's content creation when you talk about your own example in life. Of course, there's always a line that you can put it on and how much you want to share, but it is about my experience. So they do blend it together. My goals are to finish my master.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
One step at a time. This is a really big goal. So now I'm focused. I'm just starting my thesis now. So this is going to be my main focus for the next few months. Thank you.
Yes, good luck.
I'm also doing an internship, so this takes some time of my week. But in the future, I'm looking forward to just moving the next steps in Germany. I would love to find a full-time job here, to stay here.
Yeah.
Of course, I am very open to other cities, to other opportunities. I don't want to close myself to has to be this. But yeah, those are the one step at a time first. But in the future, of course, I would love to hopefully stay here in Berlin.
Yeah. And professionally, would you like to be in the digital marketing space?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
This has been the main job opportunities that I have been looking for in the content creation aspect, the marketing aspect for it, because now I think with the masters, this really helps in the job search because you have this proven knowledge that you have the basics, you have the base for the digital marketing. You basically, you can show them that you are going to not be completely unprepared or something. You know what you're talking about. And definitely that's the area that I want to keep going.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. And so, final thoughts. So what are some tips or advice that you would give to other people looking to study abroad in a different country?
I think if you're on that step of thinking, like maybe I want to do this, how do I do this? Research is the base of everything. Yeah. There's so much material online nowadays. You can really understand what your opportunities are, what the possibilities are, how life in that country or city really looks like. And especially you can look from a perspective from a student, from someone that is doing exactly what you want to do. So I would say research, read it, look into what opportunities are there. Don't think so much of like, but is it really possible? How am I going to do it? I'm not going to be able. It's common in the beginning that you say like, oh, this is not for me. I had those thoughts when I started looking. I was like, oh, this seems very complicated, very difficult. Try to keep, like, that's the next step, do one step at a time. First, do your research, see the possibilities that are out there. And then once you understand better what you can do, you go to, okay, now how do I do it?
Yes. Yeah, totally. Because I feel like sometimes we get stuck on like just the results. Yeah. Instead of maybe just processing and going one step at a time, like you said.
Exactly.
And so this is just another question for you personally. You're very organized. And so how do you manage to stay organized and grounded, especially living in such a hustle and bustle city, an international city with so much going on? How do you yourself stay organized and grounded?
That's a great topic because I think a lot of my colleagues, my friends, they have this vision of me like, oh, you're so organized, you have your things together, you have your whole agenda where you write everything down. But I think this is a struggle for everyone. There's no way to escape it. Everybody has 24 hours, and you living abroad, you don't have your family close to you. You have to take care of everything by yourself. There's this extra layer of just things of adult life that you have to resolve. So it's about managing each day. There were some times in this year that I was able to have a more intense social life. There were some times I was completely immersed in my projects from school. Other times that I was more immersed in my internship. For example, during summer, I was working full-time, so it was for that. But then I had a break, and then I was going out more, and then I was time for assignments, so I was drove into it. I think balancing your life doesn't mean every day you have everything put together, everything in the same amount. It's about sometimes giving 80% to one and the other aspect of your life being at a 20% and being okay. Like, it's gonna get back up again, but now you need to give more attention to this. So I think this is like the mindset that I try to have. I try not to think like, now I have to do so much. And then, for example, maybe I'm not doing as much sports that I wanted to, but it's not forever. It's this couple of weeks, maybe this month that you have to put your head into it, but it will change. You will go back to doing it and you'll balance it out again.
Yeah, you're super in flow with like your life and your energy. I love to hear them. Just like, it's a lot of confidence and just being in flow and balance. I think that's the key word there, just staying balanced and organized. So thank you so much for being here and having this conversation with me. This was amazing. It was so lovely getting to know you. I'm super inspired by you. So thank you so much for being here. And thank you to everybody watching. This was an amazing student-to-student chat. If you have any questions for Marina, drop them in the comments below. And we look forward to seeing you next time.